Hawken, one thing that I need to talk to you about right away is, and I said this on the air one night, is that to me you're a dead ringer for Mark Cuban. First of all, do you know who Mark Cuban is?
No.
He is the billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks that you see on TV all the time. So next time you have a chance to look, you see that. But have you ever been told that before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about how you came to William Jewell.
I came to William Jewell after my dad and I were talking, and Coach Hawley seemed like the best coach out there. So that was one of the main reasons why I decided to come to William Jewell, because I wanted to play for him. I had other offers like Jury, but I knew their coach. He wasn't a good guy, and I knew Coach Hawley was, so that had something to do with it. And just the high education level was another big part. So those were my two main reasons to go to William Jewell.
You've been in the program now for almost a full year. Today is the last game of the year. And how have you found the program? Has it kind of met your expectations?
It's definitely a totally different level than high school. You have to work a lot harder. You have to work for a longer period of time. But I found it to be a good experience, a great experience, to know all these guys, to become like a second family to me. And that's been really helpful and really good for me.
I put you on the spot a little bit here because you don't play in a lot of games. It's been a year of development, I would guess, for you. And how is that to handle after being, playing a lot in high school?
It's definitely different, but I know I can see myself from the beginning of the year to now. I've gotten a lot better, and that's I imagine is the reason why freshman year is, so you can just develop, get used to it, get acclimated to the system. And I feel like I've done that pretty well.
Hawken Thieme is our guest here, and when you play in this system, it takes a while because it's complex. And can you compare it and give folks an idea what it's like, the difference between a high school system and playing for Larry Holly?
In high school, I think we ran 6 plays, and now we run about 50 different plays with about 30 different alternations to those. So there's a lot of new stuff to know. So you have to be focused and just try your very best to remember the plays.
Well, when people talk about coming to Jewell for an academic school, they have smart players, and I think that's what's happened through the years.
Yeah, it's definitely there's some plays that are very tricky. When he first says them, they're like, oh, they're going to be easy, and then he'd be like, oh, but this guy back screen, this guy's got to do off a stagger double, and you're okay, that's not simple anymore. It's not very simple anymore. But it works, and if you go with the system and you believe in the system, then I think it's very successful.
Judge yourself here a little bit and analyze yourself a little bit. What's your strength as a player?
I'd say a strength of mine is I go hard all the time. I work at it, and I just say I play as hard as I can when I get a chance to. It's my biggest strength.
Talked about some of the guys on the team. Let's talk about them as basketball players. Is it, I would imagine, a learning experience every day to go out and play against people like All-American Nick Larson, Mark Mason, Ooze, all those guys?
Well, Mark is the fastest guy I've ever played with or against, and in practice, when I see him across me, I'm saying, all right, I'm gonna have to do something to try to get him, at least to try to stay in front of me. But he's very athletic. He's very talented. As long as Nick Larson and Chris Ooze. Chris Ooze has an outstanding work ethic. I've never seen some guy was like, hey, I'm going to go shoot and go in there and put 500, 600 shots up. And Nick Larson, he works so hard, and I mean he gets hit and he gets fouled a lot, but he keeps calm, which is very impressive.
What's your best memory of your freshman year here?
Probably when we beat Rockhurst at their place, with Ooze hitting that big 3 at the end. That or probably all of our road trips that we have, so we kind of become closer as a team. And so far, Vegas has been really fun with these guys.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Vegas would be kind of the ultimate road trip, at least this year. What have you found to do here in the off time?
Well, I've really this is my first time coming to Vegas, so I've really just taken in the sights. I went and saw a lot of the strip, some parts of downtown, which is helpful because my parents are here, so they've been here, so they've kind of shown me around and guided me through it. Found a couple of good restaurants, a lot of good food here, but I was just amazed. Last night I went to the Bellagio and saw the fountain show, and that's probably one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. So it was definitely, it's a learning experience and just an awesome experience to be a part of.
Hawken Thieme, our guest here on the HyVee Halftime Report. Tell us, you mentioned your family's here, your mom and dad at least. Tell us about your family.
My dad is he owns his own little business, and my mom's a travel agent. And they try to come to as many games as they can, but they're working a lot. But it's fun for them to be here for me. And I know it's a lot different for them because I'm not playing as near as much as I was in high school, but I still love that they would come and support me even if I don't play near as much as I did in high school. And over the year I feel like we've gotten closer even though we're a distance is farther apart. But I mean, it's nice to have parents like that.
Beginning of the year, and I ask you guys to sit down and do a little promo and say hello to people. I think you name about 30 people in your hello thing. What do you got, about 30 brothers and sisters, or what's the deal?
I have two older brothers, Hunter and Rucker. Hunter's the oldest, and Rucker's the second oldest, and I'm the small one. They try to come to as many games as they can, but they're working as well. But they always tell me, texting me, saying good luck, hope you have a good game, and always calling me after saying how it went and stuff like that. So they're very supportive of me. And if I'm down about something, they pick me up and they encourage me and say, hey, I know this. Because when I go home, I play against them. So they tell me some things that I could work on, things that I'm doing well. And sometimes they just go in there and shoot with me. So, I mean, they're very supportive as well. And then I have some other friends from my high school team that call me every once in a while and say, how am I doing? How's it going? Stuff like that. So it's really nice to have that kind of support system.
Last question, then I'll let you go to breakfast. But what do you want to do post-Jewel? I mean, when you look down the road 5-10 years, where do you see yourself?
My major's in business administration. I'm going to try and see if I can do marketing and sales or something like that because business really interests me. And I feel like I would do really well in that field. Just manage something, be a part of that because in high school I was a captain my junior and senior year, and so I have pretty good leadership skills, so I feel like that would be something that I could get easily into and do well at.
Freshman Hawken Thieme has been our guest here on the HyVee Halftime Report, and we'll be back with more in a moment.